SBN Sports Business Now.
Hello and welcome to SBN Live, a weekly wrap-up show of the top stories from sportsbusinessnow.com, and I'm your host, Holly Koski. Today I'm joined with Jonathan Dusing and Jason Cole, founders of Row 27 and also SBN. So thanks, guys, once again for being on the show.
Yes, episode 3.
Not a problem.
Episode 3.
All right.
And then join the conversation on Twitter using the hashtag SBNow. So we want to hear from you. All right, starting off with the Kansas Speedway, they have a new ticketing website that is actually really, really cool. So I'll throw that to you, John.
Yeah, I mean, we actually did it at Row 27 here.
But it's still pretty cool, though.
Yeah, we would not have a story about it if it wasn't actually cool. So, we did a site for the Kansas Speedway. It's a Perl site, as in like personal URL. And when visitors go there, and here I'll load one up here, they get there's a cool video. And then when you get to the site itself, it addresses you by name. But the really cool part that we did a little bit of research with is it actually shows your favorite driver, if we have that information, as the person that's trying to pitch it to you. And I got this from a website, a really great article by 37 Signals. They did a thing about landing pages. Let's see if I can find the link for that while I'm talking to. But and they found that landing pages with human beings on it, like even if instead of just like maybe product shots
or just like text.
In this case, like a car,
right?
Or normally have like players and stuff. But
right.
This is NASCAR, so but a page with a human being, and here's one. They did some tests here. Had a huge impact on signups and people entering like their free trials and stuff. And they actually took it a little bit further. They did some testing, some A/B testing with all the different people that work in their offices. So they kind of had like an inner office, like who actually is like better for conversion.
I would hate to be the guy that got actually decreased, the signups.
Sorry for John.
This guy, John. Poor dude.
The biggest thing they found when they're putting the different photos is if the individual was smiling, there was
right.
a marketed increase.
Yes.
And if the person was not smiling, there was
yeah. And while we couldn't necessarily get all of the drivers to smile, we did really play off of that concept and try to make it like personal, and have both the name, the fan being addressed by name, and then the driver. And I think it's really cool that Kansas Speedway had a little bit of data, had some of the favorite drivers of their ticket holders, so that we were able to start with that. And then for people who we didn't know, there's a easy way on there to specify who your favorite driver is. So in the future, we can contact you that way.
Right.
So I'm really excited to see what kind of conversions we get out of it. But really, the way I look at it, the way we look at it, is when you've got like that first initial push for renewals,
right?
You've really just got that one opportunity. So knocking it out of the park and making it as personal as possible and as effective as you can, based upon research, is definitely the way to do it. So.
And then there's also a cool analytics aspect as well. Do you guys want to expand on that?
Sure. So, not to sound too much like an infomercial or anything, but especially with renewals, I think it's really important to see like if the fans themselves actually visited the site and what they looked at and whatnot, and then also on cold calls, cold sales, that kind of thing. So this is really meant to be like an e-brochure that they can send out both to the fans in their database and new people they talk to on the phone. And so every single visit is logged. We know how long the fan looked at the site. We know how long they spent on each of the pages of the site. So if they spent a lot of time maybe on some of the premium seating or something,
right.
You know what to address with them on the phone call
when
the
next time they were there.
Yeah. When the last time we were there and stuff. So the salespeople really just have a lot of data to work with and hopefully help make the conversation a little smoother.
Yeah, the more information you have about the customer, obviously the better. So that's great analytics there.
Yeah, and obviously we spend a lot of time looking at other websites that are out there, and I think even though we did this one, I think it's a pretty good example of,
right.
of what you can and probably should do for a renewal ticket website. So. I don't feel too much shame like mentioning it.
It's not too much of a plug.
All right, it's a pretty site too. Our friend our graphic designer Kelsey designed it, and she's actually running the show right now. So. All right.
Well, speaking of ticket sales, there's also, a bunch of hubs that focus on, secondary market ticket sales, your stub hubs, your things like that. SeatGeek is another one. And there's one called Last Second Tickets, and it's out of the UK. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a last second, ticketing site where they, pass on those discounts for unsold inventory, basically. Mm-hmm. And they just got another round of funding. So $1.2 million, actually. So quite a sizable amount from Marco Media. So what do you think the future of ticket companies are like of this kind?
It's something people debate about all the time. At the end of the day, it's how much of your inventory are you cannibalizing if everyone knows there's always going to be something available at a discount at the last second. Yeah. But here and there, when you have special events come up, or every now and then, it's a great way to go ahead and access revenue that would otherwise go unspent. And for most sports teams, the focus isn't just on the $50 for the ticket. The focus is on the $75 people spend while they're at the event. So having someone in the seat that you're
trivial,
actually
like
capturing.
If they get
revenue.
in for $5, at least they bought some hot dogs and stuff.
Yeah,
is that what you're saying? Depending.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at
some hot dogs and stuff.
And stuff. I'll have some and stuff on my hot dog, please.
If we look at some of the poorly attended Major League Baseball teams, I guarantee you there's executives at those locations that would love to have 5,000 people show up for free in their cheap seats every game.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
I'm a big fan on this of last ticket stuff. I'm real into demand, obviously.
Right.
And if the tickets were worth what they're worth before 24 hours before the game or 12 hours before the game, then they would have been bought by somebody. So I don't think you're cannibalizing anything necessarily by liquidating them in some way.
Not cannibalizing anything existing. It's cannibalizing those future sales. Like if I know.
Yeah, no, I know.
If I know I can go to a game anytime I want for half face value, am I really going to buy seasons next year?
Well, make sure they're shitty seats,
Exactly.
As long as you can't walk in and be on the... But actually, this reminds me, I went to a Brewers game. It was this third to last game. And the Brewers have... had a tough season, just like our Twins here.
Yeah.
So, there wasn't that much excitement by the last week. And I saw something I've never seen before in my life. So we had like $5 tickets that were like $10 fees and stuff. Yeah. And we were about 12 rows back on the third baseline. So that was pretty nice. Yeah. But walking in, the scalpers, once the game had started, we walked in a little bit late because we may have, had a few. But once the game had started, the scalpers, on their way back to their cars, were just giving away tickets for free.
Wow.
I've never seen a scalper give away tickets. But even the ones that were selling them before that, it was all $5, that kind of thing. But, scalpers have been doing this kind of thing forever. I mean, they do low attendance games all the time and sell tickets for cheap because something is usually better than nothing, especially when you're a scalper. So...
Exactly. And actually, Mashable ran an article today about another very unique ticketing platform called PogoSeat. Okay. And that is where you do in-game upgrades. So, obviously you have crappy seats and you see 4 seats together, 5 rows down, 10 rows down. And you're like, well, nobody's sitting in them. The game's already started. Yeah. Might as well move down. So this platform is kind of interesting because it's asking people to actually pay for the seat upgrade, pay the difference between what they paid for the actual seat and then what the next value is. It's PogoSeat.com.
Yeah, I was just trying to find it for you.
Yeah.
Oh, so there we go.
That's kind of an interesting concept as well because honestly, I would just go down and sit in the seat and not pay the extra difference.
I think a lot of people don't because you can totally get kicked out of those seats, especially if it's one of those situations. I was at Timberwolves game last night and it was lightly attended, and I should say lightly is a strong word. It was like 70% capacity.
Well, for
Not so
Wednesday
bad,
night game,
Thank you.
that's
Yeah,
all.
that's
we got
I'm saying it wasn't horrible,
yeah.
but the lower bowl was definitely lightly attended. We talked about it, but I wasn't going to go down there and just take a seat because I'm just not that guy. But
I am.
if I had an app where I could like passively, see that I could pay $5, $10, $15 to take those seats and with full permission, that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, so that's another thing that I thought was kind of interesting just today. So
I think that's incredible. I would absolutely use that if I'm at a venue and there's like a long line for beer and it's going to be like $30 for me to go to the club level where everything's included.
There you go. That's a great idea.
Second. I mean,
That's actually a perfect example.
It's that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And you're really going to hit like a target market with this kind of thing, even if you talk about it on the jumbo and everything. And so you probably won't cannibalize so much those pre-sales, but maybe. But and it reminds me a lot of
people that are already there.
It reminds me a lot of of flying. I mean, I consistently go up and ask the people how much upgrade for first class is, or anything,
right,
or anything like that. So, or moving to a different flight. I mean, there's these kind of last minute option things, customizations are they happen in other businesses all the time. So,
and they actually have a partnership with the Golden State Warriors. So,
sweet. Because they're probably out of there, like that area.
Probably, yeah. It's an official team app. It says they also have 10 more NBA teams this season, so it's clearly catching on.
NBA is a great one too. I mean, baseball would work really well too, where you've got a ton of games, you got a ton of season ticket holders that can't go to every game, and
right.
maybe they can't get their tickets off to someone else every game. So they could maybe, even take it to another level instead of putting them on the secondary market, they could put them on the Pogo upgrade market, and maybe get a piece of the upgrade as well instead of giving them to their friends. But, it's a really cool idea. I love it.
Well, awesome.
Boom, boom.
So, and then kind of switching gears to more of a social media realm, we had a guest post on the website this week by Tark Ahmed on the social media ambassador and kind of exploring that idea. And basically what that is it's a person who posts on behalf of an account during the game and just kind of updating on doing behind the scenes stuff and things like that. And so they're usually like former athletes, or even Charlie Sheen did one for WWE Raw, which is a little interesting.
Yeah. Are they like live blogging? Or live tweeting? They're
live
commenting
tweeting
along, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
And so Tark argued, he said, this is a good idea because it allows someone who's not the official voice of, a certain team or the official tweeter to have a, I guess, impact on the social media world.
And if they're like famous or something, then the people care too.
Exactly. People will tune into that.
Yeah.
I would tune into Charlie Sheen.
Plenty of people I would love to see their real-time opinion of something while it's happening. It would be awesome.
It would be really cool.
Yeah.
But on the other hand,
I was going to say people do it with politics all the time.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Every debate, you're watching Twitter and
Obama's
not
tweeting
just your friends,
really
but,
right just there.
Other people. But what?
Oh, on the other hand, it could be just a platform for a celebrity to like leverage, their new book out or their new, product and really publicize that instead of focusing on the team or the game. So
well, you can deal with that and contract on it. I mean, they're being compensated for it, so
that'd be easy enough to deal with. I think at this point in time, you're almost trying to just purchase reach. Basically,
that's what it is.
That's
exactly what you're doing. So Charlie Sheen's reaching 10 million people. WWE's paying him how much money to make sure that their Monday night shows broadcast to 10 million people on Twitter repeatedly.
Right. It's not like WWE is hurting for social media impressions, though. They're consistently one of the most social shows on TV, which is great.
But like if you're like Cal football or something, and you've got a lot of celebrity alumni,
like
USC.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Well,
something like that.
in sports and not in sports too. Like that the dad on Modern Family, whatever his name is, was
Ty Burrell.
He was at the Oregon USC game.
Really?
I think he's USC. No, he's an Oregon. I'm sorry, he's an Oregon grad, and he was wearing Oregon stuff. I was gonna say if it said he was USC, like Craig would probably kill me. But people would probably think it was pretty cool to watch him just respond about the game throughout the whole thing. And a lot of celebrities already do it. Like I follow a couple of people that I didn't even know they went to these schools, but after a game, there'll be a tweet. Like Daniel Purdy he went to Marquette. He's a guy on show
Community
on TV.
Community.
Thanks, brain. And if it was more organized and he actually talked the whole game because he was paid to do it, could be really sweet. Especially people who are really good at ad-libbing comedy,
Right.
And if they're already a fan, they could put some good stuff on there. So,
agreed.
Great way to probably touch new people too.
I can't wait for this to go horribly wrong at some point.
That's what
I've had this smirk on my face the whole time.
I
I trying to think about what crazy Charlie Sheen would have done.
Charlie Sheen, that's that's a loose cannon, but it's the WWE that the crazier he gets, probably the better.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't say something horribly offensive, which is still probably a 20% chance.
Yeah.
But I think for normal teams who would hire normal people, your risk can be averted with careful planning and rules and money.
Yeah,
so. I don't know, mostly.
I'd be a little cautious about.
Well, they're not tweeting out of your account.
It's an exercised risk. I mean, at least you have deniability there. It's better than one of your staff members screwing up.
Which happens all the time too.
Yeah.
So a lot of teams are not as good at
This I think is a trend that's going to be used much more. It already is anecdotally, and teams can benefit from actually sort of deeming and promoting an event surrounding that and reaching new people.
It's cool,
but I just can't wait for it to go wrong for someone at some point in time because it'll make me laugh.
Yeah. So, check out that blog post by Tark Ahmed on sportsbusinessnow.com.
Yeah, thanks for writing for us, Tark.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
It was a great feature.
Much appreciated.
Yep.
And then moving along to the San Diego Padres. Obviously, with the MLB. San Diego.
It's German.
What's it German for? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
All right.
They are, starting their renewal process for the 2013 season, and they're actually moving towards membership almost, where the season ticket holder is called a member, and they're kind of creating a aura of exclusivity here, which I think is really smart. And they have 4 different packages where you could kind of choose what you're using the tickets for, basically. Yeah. So it's, you could have your business package, family, fanatic, or a social package. And then there's 3 different levels associated with each package, each coming with kind of unique season ticket holder events, or I guess membership events.
Yeah.
And so some of them are really cool. You have your standard birthday celebration package for a family, or even you have meeting space at Petco Park for a business, or
that's cool.
A business members only batting practice, or home plate holiday photo, which actually the Redskins are partnered with Living Social to do for. It was pretty funny. So if you can check that out, Living Social site. But that's a different topic. So
okay.
Sorry. That was just to give you background on that. Living Social is having a deal with the Redskins where you can bring your family to FedEx Field and have your holiday photo taken on the field. But I guess they're pretty cheesy shots and
I'm sure
not organized. So you can check that out.
That would be pretty funny. This is something that's happens overseas all the time. With the Australian teams that we work with, and in the UK when we talk to teams, everyone refers to their season ticket base as members, and that's something that has always struck me as first of all a very powerful term, a much better from a branding perspective of building that fan loyalty and having more value than just the face value of the tickets attached to your purchase.
Yeah.
So I think it's great that the Padres did that. I wish more teams would approach it in that manner. And outside of the MLS, I can't think of any team that I've seen do that until the Padres. So hopefully it's a gaining trend. I think there's a ton of value to be had there. And it makes the entire purchasing process a lot stickier.
Yes.
When someone feels like they've been a member since 1999
Yeah.
of this organization, as opposed to, the team stinks, so I'm going to let my tickets lapse for a couple years.
Packer stock a little bit too,
Yeah.
It's from a psychological perspective, it's basically the same.
Yeah, I when you talk about Australian teams, when I was in Sydney at that conference, there's also a lot of soccer teams there as well, and everybody does membership. They like season tickets. Like, what is that, right? And what was really interesting to me is all of them sell memberships that don't include the ability to go to the game.
Yep.
Really?
So
wow.
There is the lowest level, and they sell them people buy it a lot. So like maybe you're out of the country, but you're still a fan of Manchester United or whatever. Like you can buy a membership. It's basically like it's basically like staking your claim on like who you're a fan of and supporting the team. And I think that's something like teams in the United States could transition to. You couldn't do it like 1 year, go from season tickets to memberships that don't include tickets. But if you start talking about memberships, you can totally get there. And then you can take it even further. There's the team I talked to last night in Australia, an Australian rules football team who
Rugby.
It's AFL.
Okay.
Rugby maybe. Sorry. It's
The rugby.
Grr.
Call me maybe? Or rugby maybe?
One of the two.
Nice. But anyways, for next year, for the very first time, they're going to sell a membership for pets. And the pet can't come to the game or anything like that. But your pet, like, it's like special tags, and it's a paid membership. Like, how awesome is that?
That's phenomenal.
You really open up doors when you start talking about selling those kind of things. But you got to put some kind of meaning behind it, which means you have to build a program like this, and you've got to make membership mean something. So, and I think I agree with you. I mean, membership sounds so much better than like season ticket holder.
Yeah.
Basically, I would so much rather have like some cool ass card, and it can't be like dumb looking, but it needs to look like an Amex Black, for your membership, than to have like the big spread of like printed tickets. Like, but I've also heard from some fans that having that big spread of printed tickets is great. So I don't know.
Yeah, some people like that, physical ticket where they can frame or what have you.
Yeah, just in case they decide not to use it.
Yeah, but I love the idea of membership. Yeah.
And what really struck me as being kind of innovative was the fact that they customized experiences based on different packages. Like obviously a family might not be interested in, meeting space at Petco Park or post-draft recap with Padres baseball ops. So I think that they took the time to kind of customize that, and all of these things don't cost them anything. They're experiences, which is just another benefit to the fan.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. Every team has so much inventory like this, and all the major sports. I mean, they're so used to using these type of events and leveraging them to keep sponsors happy or big dollar customers happy. If you can go ahead and break them down into manageable chunks, like you're getting your ticket or photo taken at FedEx Field, hopefully in a non-cheesy manner. You can really, really tap into something there. And for expansion teams or teams with a low season ticket base, this is just a phenomenal way to go to help drive things in there. Like, think about if the Boston Red Sox had a $20 membership that had a $5 T-shirt and a car decal attached to it.
Effective.
I mean, that would pay how many?
Yeah, it's just like free money.
It is literally free money at that point.
You've got fans that would pay for a membership like that, but given the current way people do tickets, I don't think it really works. You can't like have season tickets and then be like, you're a season ticket holder without tickets.
Yeah.
You have to use that term.
So.
All right, well, moving on to our sponsorship spotlight of the week, and again, it's NHL focused. Lockout is still going on.
53 or 4 days, I think.
Yeah, it's obscene at the moment. But actually, one of my favorite ski resorts up in British Columbia, Canada, Whistler Blackcomb, they have actually come up with a really, really unique idea. So they created a contest for current NHL sponsors to come up with a compelling argument in 150 or 100 words or less as to why your company and or client deserves to have a free marketing package at Whistler Blackcomb.
Yeah. If you, this is such a stroke of PR genius on their part. If you look at everywhere how sports sell sponsorship and sell impressions and sell access to their customers, it's really unique and insanely profitable way of utilizing inventory and creating inventory. Like so many other areas can really delve into that. And Whistler Blackcomb, has put their gondola wraps in place, put signage on every single slope, put screens up throughout the resort that can go ahead and push advertising. So they've moved to the sports marketing model for a ski resort and ski slope. And this is a great way to get press, get people like us to talk about it, to go ahead and get these sponsors who have dollars sitting on the sidelines to compete and see everything that they have and everything that they're marketing. It's
really free
slick
for these NHL sponsors that are feeling the effects.
I just don't think anyone from American Express is probably going to write a 100-word argument.
No,
but
those are the American
probably
Express is one of their existing sponsors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, Whistler Blackcomb is one of the premier ski resorts in North America. They had the Olympics there. And so they have major sponsors like Coca-Cola, Nintendo, and American Express. And, even so to have your brand associated with that would be great.
Well, that, and they have very, very high dollar customers. I mean, if you look at the Vail Resorts Mountains in Colorado, they're all in between $350,000 to $400,000 of annual household income for the people that are on those slopes any given day. And accessing that market is
in American U.S. dollars. Just imagine the Canadian income.
It would actually be a little bit less right now.
But it involves bacon.
It involves bacon?
Yeah. Bonuses in bacon.
Gotcha.
Okay. Thanks. Sorry. I don't know.
So, and another thing is this could be a small company that's feeling the effects or a large one. And it's a smart way for Whistler to almost pick up new sponsors as well because
absolutely. Every single person submitting it sees the value of having it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, they could be like, the brand could be, thank you for offering this to us. And obviously there's some crossover in terms of demographics and things like that. And then decide to sign on with them for the next season.
I'm just amazed they didn't have a premium car brand mixed in with their current anchors.
Yeah, they do not. Is not that I'm aware of. No, might be Lexus, but I don't think so.
Gotcha.
All right, and then our whiff of the week, which is my growing favorite topic of our show.
Love it.
This is the brand ambassador for the Eagles, right?
Yeah, right. Right. So Marcus Vick, if you haven't heard this already, went on a little bit of a Twitter rant about his brothers' Eagles, especially their offensive line. So basically, he took to Twitter and said, please trade my brother. We want out of Philly. Please, please, please. Little did he know that the trade deadline had already passed like 4 days ago. So, that was kind of a moronic comment.
Details.
Yeah.
But this was kind of interesting because actually a reporter, said to Michael Vick after the game, so what was up with like your brother's tweet rampage or whatever? And Michael had no idea. And
the game was going on.
Right,
it's
exactly.
not like he was on his phone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so the fact that he had to almost do a little crisis management
really.
and it just goes to show that your posse, your friends or whatever are a brand extension, and he does not need any more negative press.
He did
right
it
now.
phenomenally well
Yes,
on his
he
press
did.
conference today.
He did.
I mean, he was just like, I put him in his place. That won't happen again. Bro has to sign off of Twitter.
Right.
And he emphasized how happy he was to be in Philly, how much he wanted to be there, and everything else. But
he's gotten smarter on his comments.
Well,
Marcus,
at least his brother didn't
so
say
far.
like Michael talks about all the time about how he hates Philly.
Right.
There weren't any quotes happening.
Yeah.
But the entire that my brother's going to have brain damage when he's 45 and stuff like that. I mean, it was.
He very well could be, even if he didn't have that
He
atrocious
actually will.
offensive line by the Eagles. Got to get it under control. But just kind of.
As a rule, I never say anything negative about anyone who plays on an offensive line in the NFL.
They are the smartest people on the football team historically.
They're way like two of me.
Well, that's true too.
Three.
That's
sometimes.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
common knowledge right there. And well, I think we've sufficiently covered all of the week's events. So thanks guys for joining me on SBN Live, and we will see you next week.
SBN Sports Business Now.